going on, guys? Today's video is going to be a little bit different. We are finally taking this Seadoo XP Limited out to the water. So I fixed it. I actually recorded fixing it. I fully rebuilt the carbs with brand new OEM Mikuni rebuild kits, and there was a ton of stuff that was wrong inside the carburetors. There was the main jet was sitting there just dangling. All sorts of stuff was just completely out of whack in the carbs. Let me flip this around and just explain a little bit more, and then we'll get going. So if you guys have been following along, we purchased this Seadoo XP Limited, and it needed a few things to get running. First, it wouldn't even start. We put a new starter motor in it, ended up taking the engine out because the starter motor was broken off inside the case. When we tried to remove it, it was just so old and stuck in there. Got all that sorted out, and then it seemed to run kind of strange. So the only thing, and there was a bunch of hoses that were disconnected. We mapped all those out, reconnected the hoses, got all that good. Still was running a little bit funny. So finally, the last thing on the checklist, we checked compression, which was also good, was the carburetors. So I took those out, and sure enough, the carbs were completely, out of whack. So rebuilt them, set the pop-off pressure, and now they're good to go. So the thing runs mint now. I might have to turn up the idle a little bit, but we'll find out once we get to the water. I've just only been testing it out of the water. But she fires right up, and we're gonna go and hit the water and see how she works. So she runs, revs up. So let's go hit the water, see how she works, and go have some fun for once. Okay guys, so we launched in a little bit different spot. So normally I go to the boat ramp over there, but this is a little bit easier for the Seadoo at least. I don't know, I might try it with the boat later, but at least this, you can just back in and just kind of pull it off and put it here instead of having to tie it up to a dock and have the thing bouncing off the dock and all that. This is much, much easier. So I was gonna pull forward. Good thing we got four-wheel drive, but I don't even really need it. It's still on flat ground up there. So we'll do that. Let's go for a rip. Okay guys, so we're out here. The idle's definitely low, so I can increase that. This thing gets out of the hole good, but I almost feel like maybe the fuel filter, like the pickup in the actual tank, is clogged up. Because it gets up and goes, and it seems like it starves for fuel up top. Like, watch. I don't know if this thing has a different prop in it, but it gets up and goes. Here it kind of falls on its face a bit. It's just like the RPM falls down. It's like clogging here. Like it's running out of fuel. Catch its breath for a minute. Just did was cleaned up this fuel water separator. There was actually some dirt in it, which isn't the greatest thing to be finding, but is what it is. I just hope that whatever dirt was in here didn't go back into the carbs, because there is little filters in the carbs, so I don't want to have to take those apart again if I don't have to, of course. But anyways, turn up the idle as well, so screw right here. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more, just give us a bit more idle speed. We'll see how we end up, but everything looks good. There's not like any water in the chassis or anything, so it's not like leaking. So keep ripping it, but she definitely has a big bog. Check it out, dry as a bone inside. So That's at least good. We just got to figure out why she's bogging, but I would be led to believe maybe there's some junk in the tank, and either I got to put a secondary fuel filter on this to start catching it all. I just hope I don't take the carbs off again and clean out those filters inside, but cleaned out that one filter. We'll see how she does and turn up the idle, so let's go for another rip. So the idle seems pretty decent around there, jumping around 1500 or so. So you can maybe give it a tiny bit more, but overall it's not too bad. But I gotta wait till I get her this little bay here and hammer down and see if she's still bogging. Still bogging. That's the other thing that's annoying is this is so short, you hit a bump and it pops right off. Like it just runs out of fuel. Alright boys, so we loaded her back up. We're gonna get going. I don't want to get stranded out there. Obviously we gotta fix some sort of fuel starvation issue, so let's get out of here, get back. Alright guys, so we're back now, and I was kind of doing a little bit of thinking on the way back and just a little bit of quick research. One of the things I did notice when I was checking this is that this is a common problem, that the O-ring at the top gets completely just KO'd. And this one is in fact just absolutely shot. So if you look here, that O-ring, hopefully you can see there if the camera focuses, it is just pancaked. So it might be letting some air into the system. So that might be part of the reason there. So definitely need a new O-ring. I just hope some of that sediment didn't get into the carbs. So as much as it sucks, I might pull the carbs back off and just double check the 2 little filters in there and make sure that everything's still clean. And just go through this one more time, and I'm gonna order a new filter, a new O-ring. And then another thing I noticed is this might be choking it off as well. So this here on the fuel selector, if you put on reserve, it doesn't even work whatsoever. And I've seen that the inside of them gets corroded and starts blocking off, so that could be restricting some fuel. And then I'm gonna take the seat off and I'm gonna check the pickups that go into the tank. So if you guys wanna see that content, let me know, comment down below if you guys wanna see all that, and I can make a separate fuel, I guess, diagnosis video. But I think that's gonna be the problem in this case. Yeah, and I had just cleaned this out too, and there was some sediment in it. You can still see on the side there. So it continues to pick up some sort of crud. I don't know if it's coming from the tank or it's coming from this O-ring, but either way, we got some junk in this fuel system, and I think that's our problem. All right, so that's gonna be a wrap for today's video, you guys. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys are interested in this type of content, and check out the other videos we already have. So at least we didn't get stranded out on the water. I guess it was a half successful day, so able to, you know, ride around a little bit and kind of enjoy it a little bit, but at the same time it's a little bit nerve-wracking when it's cutting out and stuff. I didn't want to go too far and be stranded somewhere. So that's gonna be a wrap. Stay tuned for the next video where I fix this thing again, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See that junk down there in the bottom of the tank? So I don't know how that got in there, unless somebody like was filling it up with rocks or something.